What's going on, family? How y'all doing? Welcome to the latest installment of TSC Unleashed. We in the building. How y'all doing, family? Big ups to the rest of the family members chiming in the live stream. Brother Jerry, I see you. Kevin, GM Kev in the building. We in the building as well, family. Good to see y'all here. And in this edition of TSC Unleashed, man, we'll be representing and going over a lot of sports today, man. We'll even be talking a little baseball today. And we don't really talk baseball, but man, what the Braves did against the Marlins was just ridiculous, man. We're going to cover that. We're going to talk some basketball playoffs, talk about the Celtics and the Raptors, man. We're going to make sure and have the Swami himself explain to us why the Toronto Raptors were able to push the series against the Celtics to 7 games. Uncle Mozzie will join us momentarily. Also, the Clippers matchup with the Nuggets, which I said that'll be a difficult matchup. The Nuggets had to win that game. Of course, they didn't. Clippers take control of the series, and the Nuggets just can't keep coming out of elimination to win the series. That's very difficult to do. We're going to go over that game as well. And also, we're going to talk a little football, man. Clay Matthews in the building as well, in terms of, he says he wants to play. The Denver Broncos lose Von Miller. Who did they turn to? Clay Matthews. The deal didn't work out. We'll give you the specifics on that. Also, we'll preview the Texans and the Chiefs. That's right, NFL football is back tonight. And we'll give you the preview on that matchup as well. So without further ado, like I said, Mozzie will be joining us momentarily on the show. So man, a lot to talk about. But anyway, we're gonna dive right into this thing, man. We're gonna start off with the matchup of the Toronto Raptors against the Boston Celtics. What can I tell you, man? This was a really good game. Went into overtime, and ultimately, it came down to some great defensive play, man, that helped them win this game and stay out of it. And you got to give it up to Norman Powell, man. He was terrific. 38 minutes off the bench, 6 of 11. He finished with 23 points, but I keep telling people about the Raptors is that they play as a team. This is a team, and they're a well-coached team. It's like when Coach Casey left from up there and he went down, I think he went to Detroit, and Nick Nurse took over. They never skipped a beat. They just kept it going. Well-coached, real-class organization. Kyle Lowry stepped ahead. He played 53 minutes in this game. 12 of 20 from the field, 6 of 10 from downtown, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He finished with 33 points and 6 assists in the game. 33 points. That's what you're supposed to do, Kyle Lowry. That's what you're supposed to do. Fred VanVleet, 51 minutes. Man, they had 3 players on the Raptors team. Actually, 4 players that went over 50 minutes, man. And they were balling, man, especially Kyle Lowry. He represented. Fred VanVleet, 51 minutes, 21 points, 7 assists on the night, 7 of 22 from the field, 3 of 13 from downtown, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, and he got it done. Then, of course, Norman Powell off the bench, like I said, electrified him with 23 points. Then 13 points for Sergio Baca in 21 minutes, 13 points for OG Anunoby in 50 minutes. He had 13 points and 13 rebounds in the matchup, so he was really stiff. And then, of course, Siakam struggled in this game. In 54 minutes, he only had 12 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, or 5 of 19 shooting. But that's okay. He was 0-5 from downtown, but his team had his back in a major capacity. They pull out a 125-122 win over Mozzie's dark horse Celtic club. Now, I'm not saying that they won't advance, but this is showing you, man, don't ever write out teams that's in the playoffs, deep in the playoffs, man. Don't write teams out like that, because these teams obviously are there because they have the intestinal fortitude to be able to push past some of the most diverse situations. So 29 points from Jason Tatum in the matchup, 9 of 21, 4 of 8 from downtown, 7 of 10 from the field. He finished with 29 points and 14 rebounds with 9 assists. Almost a triple-double night in 51 minutes from Jason Tatum. 31 points from Jaylen Brown in 51 minutes, 11 of 30, 4 of 13 from downtown, 5 of 5. He finished with 31 points, 16 rebounds. man, these dudes is playing, they balling. Then Marcus Martin, he had 23 points, 10 assists, and 11 rebounds, a triple-double from Marcus Smart in 50 minutes, 7 of 15 from the field, 6 of 11 from downtown, 3 of 3 from the free throw line. No real help off the bench. The bench wasn't really there in the capacity where you would think that if they gave a little bit more production, they might have done something. What really kind of stunted the Celtics with all that production coming from Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, where was Kemba Walker? Where was Kemba? Kemba was missing in action in this one. 52 minutes, 2 of 11 from the field. He was 1 of 6 from downtown. That won't get it done, Kemba. If Kemba would have showed up, the Celtics could have, they would have definitely beat the Raptors. He finished with 5 stinking points, 7 assists, and he had 4 personal fouls as well with 3 turnovers. So Kemba Walker, man, if he would have showed up, they probably won. Even Theus showed up and played. He had 18 points and 7 rebounds in this matchup as well in 47 minutes, 9 of 11 from the field. But man, listen, I keep telling people about this Toronto club. They remind me of a faster version of the San Antonio Spurs, is what I'm saying. That's what they remind me of. And the cold part about it is, no matter what you do or what you say, you can never write out this team. You can never do it. Well, anyway, let's keep it moving, man. We'll get Five to chime in as soon as he can, man. He's running behind a little bit. So we'll move on to the next breakdown, which was the matchup, which he said that the Denver Nuggets will win. Well, guess what? They didn't. They go down 96 to, 85 to the Clippers. And this was another tough matchup because, listen, the Nuggets needed this game. Don't expect this. The Nuggets are, the Clippers aren't the Utah Jazz, man. They're going to take care of business. Utah's still learning, man. They're still learning, but this Clipper club is this is a title contending team. When you have guys like Leonard there, you have guys like George there, and then you have Patrick Beverley, the staple, and then other role players, Reggie Jackson and Montrezl Harrell, who was a 6th man. These guys are serious players, man. They really are, and they showing you what they could do. 96-85 Clippers took care of business against Denver. 30 points from Leonard in the matchup, 10 of 22 from the field, 2 of 4 from downtown, 8 of 8 from the free throw line, 30 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, almost a triple-double from the man. And then, of course, he really was the staple. The rest of the guys struggled. Patrick Beverley only had 2 points in 23 minutes. Paul George in 27 minutes, 4 of 10, 2 of 6, 10 points in the matchup. He continues to be hot in the cold running water. Montrezl Harrell off the bench, 15 points. That helped out. 18 minutes, 6 of 10 from the field, 3 of 5 from the free throw line, 12 points from Sweet Lou Williams at 3 out of 11 from the field. He was 0 of 3 from downtown, but did get to the free throw line and convert 6 out of 9 to help them push ahead. 96-85 defense was the main attribute, as they suppressed the scoring ability and had really good defense against this Denver Nugget club. Jokic, who's usually the dude, he stepped up this and gave him a double-double. In this one, in 39 minutes of action, 11 of 23 from the field, 2 of 7 from downtown, 26 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists from Jokic. Nobody else really could help the man. Now, Murray came, and that's what I was saying about Murray. Murray is the type of dude that's hot and cold. In this one, 6 of 15, 2 of 3, but 18 points. You can't expect Murray to score 50 points every night. You know what I'm saying? That's just not where he's at in terms of his development at this point of his young career. So, man, only thing I can tell you, man, is that I like what the hell is going on with this Clipper club and how they taking care of business. And we're gonna bring Uncle Mozzie in here. Uncle Mozzie, how you doing today, brother? Just to start off.
Oh, y'all thought y'all were gonna get rid of me. Y'all can't get rid of me that easy. I had a little technical difficulties, but whatever. But y'all not getting rid of me that easy. I'm back. So what did I miss? I need you to catch me up to speed.
Well, you didn't.
I'm gonna go ahead and listen for about 3-4 minutes. I know y'all got it out for me today.
You can try as you may. Try as you may, Uncle Mozzie, to try to deflect this chicanery, but it will not work. You have to answer for why both these clubs, your Denver Nuggets, are now trailing the Los Angeles Clippers 3-1, and they are not the Utah Jazz. And then you have to then account, my brother, for what's going on with the Celtics and the Raptors, in which the Raptors showing you that and I've told you, You can never discount the Toronto Raptors because they are well coached. They play as a team. So we're going to start with the Raptors and the Celtics. Go at it.
Well, no. First off, man, let's just call it what it is, man. The Raptors had a lot of whining going on last night by your man Kyle Lowry. He got a lot of calls actually, more than than I care to like. He got to the stripe. That obviously helped him get in position to go to 2 separate overtimes. And I mean, we should have knocked him out, killed him in overtime. I get that, but we had a game 7. The laws of averages, I'm a big laws of averages man. So laws of averages tell me what goes up must come down. They done 1-2 in a row. It's only evident that they lose the next one coming up. So they got to. It'll be unimaginable to me, and I can't see another scenario in which they wouldn't win this game coming up. They're obviously more talented than Toronto. They're younger than Toronto. They're deeper than Toronto. Their colors are even better than Toronto. Boston is probably even a bigger city than Toronto, and they can't fight. So it is what it is. I love Boston going into to Game 7.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't have any qualms about Celtics ultimately winning the series. I think they're a very well-coached team as well. But that goes to show you that they had the last couple of games, the Celtics should have took control. They didn't. The Raptors found chinks in the armor. And like I said, everybody's expecting Boston to come out of this thing. But don't be surprised if the Raptors come out of this thing is all I'm saying, because anything can happen in Game 7. The Raptors have shown you that they could play with the Celtics, what a lot of people thought they couldn't. A lot of people thought that the series would end in 4 games, 6 games. It has not. They pushed it to 7 games. They are the defending champions, and people continue to overlook them like they're not a real champion. And I'm telling you, just because Leonard's not out there, this team is still very good. So we'll see. Anything can happen in the Game 7.
This is like Portland Reloaded here. Portland in the East.
Should I remind you, just of recently, as a few days ago, the Milwaukee Bucks was picked as an Eastern Conference representative. They're now at home watching the playoffs like the rest of us. So anything can happen. The Miami Heat is showing you that anything can happen in the playoffs when it's about matchups. And Toronto is giving the Boston Celtics some trouble. That's all I'm saying. And like I've already said, anything can happen in Game 7. So don't be surprised if, and this is a big if, the Toronto Raptors, who are the champions now, up in the Celtics, which that would be considered a surprise to people. Well, we'll see, man. People, this is the reputation that they garnered. Okay, let's go on to the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets matchup here, Uncle Mozzie. The Clippers are up 3-1. This is a tough thing to deal with. You represented and said that Denver will represent the Western Conference in the against the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. That theory is looking pretty bad, right, man. They're down 3-1. What's going on here?
I mean, hey, that's why we play the game. Y'all have your opinion, and I have mine, and I'm still picking Denver.
Don't go to the opinion. Don't go to the opinion, Mozzie. Use your crystal ball, Swami. And don't go to the everybody has a nose opinion thing. That's not what it's about. You pick the Heat, the Nuggets, and the Celtics to move in the next series. I want you to explain to me right now why your Denver Nuggets are trailing the Los Angeles Clippers 3-1, and will they get back into the series? I'm putting you on record, friend.
Of course we are. I mean, you know what it is. Didn't we just do this like 2-3 weeks ago? Didn't we just watch this movie? You see, what you got to understand is we love to work out, so we like to play from behind.
Different players in this movie.
We like to play. Yeah, but we like to play from behind. We don't like to, you know what I'm saying? We'll play from behind. We'll spot you and then come catch you. That adds a different level of disrespect on the back end. So that way, see, what we don't want to do, we don't want people to, whoever wins this championship this year, it might be shrouded in the bubble of COVID. We didn't have home court advantage, yada yada yada. We didn't have fans. I couldn't see my family. Whoop de whoop. So we prefer to play from behind like that. So if we get down 2-3 games, then come back and win the series, and we do that all the way into the finals. When we actually get crowned, or we actually go to the finals and get crowned, if that were to happen, which Boston is still my favorite team. If that were to happen, though, we can honestly say, yeah, we earned that. We had to come back. We had a vicious 7-game series with Utah. Then we came back and clawed our way back in and took the Clippers to 7. Then we came in and played the LA Lakers. And you see, so it creates more of a dynamic, more of a story. So that's what we're doing right here. I told you, I talked to JoJo on the phone, and he already gave me confirmation that they're gonna go ahead and take care of business and go ahead and when he run up check these next 3, take it on home.
That's a lot, man. You're talking about doing that. This is not the Utah Jazz, man. This team they just need Paul George and Leonard to come alive in this next game. And maybe there is a possibility that I'm thinking Denver could force maybe an extra game, but to say that they're going to come back and tie this series and win it, that's a stretch because of the way how the series is played to this point. I mean, you're seeing it right now. I mean, you just have to put the bifocals on. You got to put the bifocals on there, Okamazi, because they're showing you the series is 3-1. I mean, are we not going to see how the Clippers have been handling the Nuggets?
Listen, that's why it's a best of 7. It's not a best of 5 or a best of 6, right? It's a best of 7, and it's a best of 7 for a reason. They have to win all 4 games in order to move on to the next round, correct? So that's just like when Boston was up 2-0 and you was like, oh, Toronto, yada yada yada, and which again, Toronto still that first game they won gave them a little confidence, and it may have swayed things, from a confidence perspective their way. But one of those wins don't even really count. It was with 0.5 seconds left on a cross-court pass by a dude shooting a 3 in a corner and hit it all net. That'll never happen again. So let me keep shining the light of discredit on that shot. So moving on from there, yeah, Denver will win the next 3 games and we'll come back alive and everything will be everything. The universe will be reset.
Okay, all right.
Boston's definitely gonna handle business. We can eliminate that, although not in the fashion that I thought they would, but they're still gonna come back and take this game 7 for Toronto. Celtics and the Heat was next Tuesday or Wednesday. I think the Eastern Conference Finals start, and then we'll just be waiting on obviously the Lakers will handle business and eliminate the Rockets, and then we'll just be waiting on Denver to come knock these 3 games out. Everything will be right with the universe.
All right, I got you, my brother. Well, we shall see.
Let me explain something that I heard. Right?
Okay.
It really don't make my math teacher in the 6th grade. When I turned in my test, my daddy was furious because the question was 6 plus 3, right? And I put 9, and then I also put 5 plus 4, and I put 8 plus 1. She took points off my paper and told me I was being a smart ass. My dad came back and said, man, listen, they got 4 or 5 different ways to get to this one answer. So just because Denver didn't come out and sweep these people as though they should have, they'll still win the series. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. Don't worry about that. We'll be there next week. You just make sure your people are next week. That's what you do.
Well, they're going to be in the building as they always is. Much love to them.
Yeah, because they're in the bubble. They don't have no choice but to be in the building. Everybody in the building. Make sure they're on the floor.
I'm talking not just them. They'll show up and represent because they've shown any doubt. They've ran through any doubt. And they've operating as the supreme underdog in the series. We talking about the Raptors. The Clippers are handling the Nuggets, no doubt about it. And for you to say that they'll rumble back 3 games to catch them and ultimately to win the series is a lot. It's a bit much. So let's keep it going. Brother Jerry, who that to you in the chat? Good to see you. GM Kev in the building as well. Say, come on, Mozzie. You sounded real, what was the term? Unsure? Is that what's the term?
Yeah. That's what Cam said.
Okay.
It don't bother me though. I know. I already knew what it was coming. I knew when I woke up this morning, and because I went to sleep on the game last night, I couldn't take it no more. I'm not gonna lie to you, because it was just it was egregious. The calls that the Clippers were getting, it was outrageous. I couldn't take it no more. So when I woke up and I saw the final score, I already knew I was gonna get it this morning. I already knew it. But see, I want y'all to keep that same energy next week. See, because When I see, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. When I come back on here next Tuesday or Wednesday, after both conference finals are set, then we gonna see what's going on, and then maybe y'all will give me my roses at that point. Because right now, y'all think I'm crazy. Y'all don't understand the vision. Y'all don't see it. So y'all will see it here in the next, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, and then we'll have a different conversation.
Well, I mean, I think they see it, man. I don't think they're the ones not seeing it, Uncle Mozzie, but you're right. We'll see at the end of the day who's right, who's wrong, and how it all shake out. Tro Blewett, I see your family. Much love to you. Todd Redu, good to see you, Todd, in the building as well. Brian Pearson, good to see Brian in there. He says, who do you think he says, what do you think the Milwaukee Bucks will do next year? Very uncertain, bro, with the whole Giannis situation. But they will be a good team. I don't know about being a contender. Giannis is there. He represents a lot of that. There's a lot of rumors circulating about him in Miami, like Mozzie astutely mentioned several shows ago. So we just have to play it by ear. He also asked the question, how do you think Joe Burrows is going to do this year? I think if they can keep Joey Burrow upright, he'll do just fine, man. You know, he's going to have his learning pains, but listen, he has a running game with Mixon. That helps out. They have good tight end play. Their offensive line is okay. The defense is young but learning. I seen an article with Von Bell, our former guy, was named the captain. So and that's not a surprise because a lot of that Bengal defense is relatively young. And also I've seen footage of Von Bell. He looks pretty good in that Cincinnati defense. So Cincinnati, man, they've been terrible for a long time, and perhaps now with the quarterback there, they can keep him upright, and AJ Green stays healthy. They have all those great weapons like Sutton and what was the young kid that they drafted? I forgot the kid's name. It's not CeeDee Lamb, is it? No, it's the other guy. I want to say from Clemson that they got. I want to say, but anyway, they have was the wide receivers for Cincinnati, but they have some good wide receivers there, and they got a talented team. So if they can keep Burrow upright, I think the Bengals, man, look out for the Bengals. They might make a little noise out there in the AFC. All right, let's keep it going here. Jim Kev continues to just lambaste Uncle Mozzie in this one. He says Mozzie, man, he lost his touch. Oh, well, anyway, we're gonna stop here. Mozzie just gotta take it today. This just not a good day for him. But anyway, let's move it to the next one, man. Let's see if you can get it right on the next one. Lakers and the Rockets, Mozzie, tonight. The only game, it's a 6 o'clock Central Time. Of course, you know you got football coming on later night. Lakers and Rockets. Lakers up 2 games to 1 on this one. They seem like they got the Rockets number. It's starting to appear like it looks like the series a time earlier, when they lost that one game, the first game out the gate to the Trailblazers, then reared off 4 straight games. You know, I said that earlier. That's like, man, I don't know. This started to look like it's doing the same trend. Do Houston even up the series now, or do the Clippers do the Lakers pull a Clippers and go up 3 games to 1 in control of the series? What's your call on this one?
The Lakers absolutely take this game tonight. They're playing out their body right now. They're playing on another level. I don't like LeBron. I think I established that once before. Right. I think they just put way too much blow up on him in half for the last 17 years. I'm Team Kobe all day. I can't stand the fact that he went over to LA and it's kind of like trying to mirror my man's legacy. But I mean, the Rockets have absolutely no answer for these people. Playing like they played the last 2 games anyway, I don't know. But they have absolutely no answer for these people whatsoever at all. After that game 1 where they kind of had to figure out what was going on and what spots were available and what spots weren't, how to kind of check that small ball lineup. And then Frankie V made that transitional switch to keep the bigs on the bench and to implement more of the smaller athletic guys, even if it meant sacrificing something on the defensive side.
They can play that small ball, Mozzie. They can play it.
Yeah, they can, but I'm talking about some of the bigs, like Howard. His minutes have been limited. JaVale McGee's minutes have been limited because they just simply don't have the mobility to keep up with the small ball. But it was up to, like we said yesterday, it was up to Frankie V to identify that and make that switch. When he did, that took the only advantage the Rockets had away from him, and by taking that advantage away, coupled with the fact that LeBron is just he's either an alien or on some kind. LeBron James is okay. It's one of 3 things: either he's an alien, a robot, or a Saiyan. One of the three. Because at 35 years of age, ain't no way. I know several people 35 years of age, they can't walk up the block, much less do some of the stuff that he's doing. It's incredible. It's crazy. And I don't even like the guy, to be honest, but I mean, I can't hate on it. I can hate on it, but I won't, for all intents and purposes of this show, I won't hate on it. They're just playing on another level right now. I just don't see a scenario at all where the Rockets pull it together and win this series, even if they happen to eke out another game, because the Lakers do tend to play to the level of their competition and get a little lackluster and lazy at times. If they get caught up in a situation like that or in that type of conundrum, it won't last but a game at the most. The most this is going to go is 6 games, 4-2. More than likely it'll be 4-1. And this will be over in 5. But I mean, that's just where I'm at with it.
Yeah, it's like I said. You let's see. You said either he's an alien, he's a robot, or he's a Saiyan. Well, since I've been watching DBZ for years, Saiyan is an alien. Is last time I checked, and he does have a hyperbolic chamber, doesn't he? So if based on your example.
Yeah,
Then he have a oxygen, what they call it?
He don't have a hyperbolic. No. He doesn't have one. He used somebody else's hyperbolic time. He uses Dende's hyperbolic time.
No, I'm talking about LeBron.
He don't have his own. He don't have no money.
LeBron has.
LeBron. Yeah, LeBron.
He got one. So so according to your example, I would say he's more of a Saiyan than anything else.
They sell them on AliExpress. They sell everything else on AliExpress or shit. They might sell one of them. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, what you saying?
But that's based on your example. That's I would put him there because you look at him, but it's the team around him. But that small ball rotation, the Lakers could play because they simply ship Anthony Davis to the center position, and they have Rondo coming off the bench, and that neutralized that. And PJ Tucker, whoever they have running that center, can't do a damn thing. And playoff
Rondo is really the deal breaker.
He is the deal breaker.
Playoff Rondo is the deal breaker for this series.
Right, and I agree. So
without him, I just don't see him doing what they did. Yeah,
he was terrific.
Absolutely,
man. He was terrific. So, all right, let's move from the NBA talk now into football talk, and we're gonna talk a little Clay Matthews talk. A lot of words been happening. Seattle was looking at Clay Matthews. Nothing ever shook of that. But then when Von Miller went down with an injury that required the linebacker to get surgery, which means he could possibly be done for the entire year. Some people say for the rest of the year, but you never know how this medical tech is nowadays. Clay Matthews was called upon by the Broncos, but couldn't reach a deal. But his agent said he is not retired and he's looking to play somewhere. So what do you think about this, Mozzie? Of course, Clay Matthews is still available, man, and he couldn't reach a deal with the Broncos. Seattle was interested with him as well. So that's just a little throw that in the game about Clay Matthews. This guy we've been throwing at the Saints for some time, man, since along with the Jadeveon Clowney and the Everson Griffin talk. Clay Matthews is still on the board, a guy that got 8 sacks last year in 12 games. Why would you not want this guy on your team? What do you think about Clay Matthews and his contribution to any team in coming up this season?
Clay Matthews fits the bill of the Saints perfectly,
doesn't he?
100-year player, white guy, plays linebacker, and nobody wants to sign him. So he sounds like a perfect candidate for the Saints. As a matter of fact, we wanted him so bad we went and got our own great value version. And what was his name? What was this dude's name, man? It was crazy. He played 2 or 3 seasons, and they put him in there 4 plays a game like Rudy. And I would always say he great value Clay Matthews. No.
AJ Klein?
Man, what was this? Was it Jared Allen?
Jared Allen.
It was the linebacker for the Saints. He used to always. Yeah, man, I can't. Bro, it's so funny, man. At any rate, this is the perfect candidate for the Saints. Was it Jared? It was Jared Allen? I can't remember, but he used to always come run out. He tackled him to get up and start beating his chest like a gorilla. White guy. It's crazy.
Charles, you talking about Jeff Charleston?
Huh?
Jeff
this
Charleston?
Was maybe 20. No. He played linebacker, white guy.
Oh, he was from Baltimore. I know who you're talking about. He came over from Baltimore as a defensive. He was a linebacker, but they tried him at defensive end. His name escapes me. If you guys know who we talking about in the chat, he came over from Baltimore. His name escaped me. He was supposed to be this big deal for the Saints. They got him, and he couldn't do nothing. Remember, this guy played for Cleveland, played for Baltimore. If you guys know the name of this player, put him in the chat, man, because his name is escaping me right now. But I know who you're talking about.
We had so much hype and blow up on him when he came over, and it was just, and the Saints, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. The Saints been doing that. The earliest recollection of that I can remember. You remember when we first got Jim Everett and we thought like it was Super Bowl year? We couldn't be. We got Jim Everett, then I think like 2 years later we got like Eric Allen. Remember Eric Allen came over and it was like.
That's who you talking about, Paul Kruger.
Huh?
Paul Kruger.
Paul Kruger, that's his name right there. That's him right there, yeah.
Thanks, Jim Kelly.
Well, like Freddy Krueger, it was a nightmare with that dude, bro. It was crazy. But nah, man, that's what I'm saying, man. I don't see a scenario where the Saints like let this pass. Even if they did it with Jim Everett, Eric Allen, they did it with just recently they did it with Adrian Peterson. This is what they do, man. They did it with Drew Brees and Jonathan Vilma. It just the ball bounced their way for those two picks. Where you had basically two quarterbacks, an offensive quarterback and a defensive quarterback, and like top fives in their positions after the injuries. But the injuries are the only reason they even made it to the Saints, because they were able to get them at a discounted rate for a name brand. We only get name brand players on discount. We don't get name brand players. Our name brand players never come from Dillard's or Macy's. Our name brand players got to come from Marshalls and TJ Maxx and Steinmart. That's where all our name brand players come from. Our name brand players come from somebody either return them or one of the sleeves longer than the other or something like that. Yeah, then we can go ahead and get a name brand player. We got to get our polos from Solo. Remember that? Oh, you got your polo from Solo, boy. Look, see, and that's what I'm saying. We got to start getting name brand players out the gate that's going to be impactful players and make a difference, especially when you got a quarterback that was born in 1918. If we don't win in the next 2 years, that's Rap City. And we don't have nothing coming up behind him as an answer. So I would definitely go get Clay Matthews and just put it all in. This team is going to remind me, honestly, of the 2004 Raiders. Remember the Raiders? They had everybody on their team was born in like 1950 or earlier. You remember that? I think it was like the 04 Raiders. Everybody was like 50. Everybody was like 50. So this is going to be the same type of situation I'm looking at with this New Orleans team moving forward here in the next 2-3 seasons. Breeze will be gone or at least eligible for Social Security. A lot of their I looked at I didn't realize Davis was in his ninth or 10th season. Cam Jordan is approaching his 8th or 9th season. So yeah, man, we got to get something done here in the next 2 years. It's gonna be looking real ugly for the Saints here. You know, when you start to get in the NFL, especially some of those power positions like that, power meaning every play you taking a hit. Like when I played football, every play either side of the ball as a lineman, and people don't give a lineman credit for that a lot of the time. They get broken down and they take those hits, and over a period of time, even you know, you might not pay attention to it, or even it's not a glamorized or glorified position, but like that takes a toll on people. And I'm thinking that's the reason why a lot of people are very standoffish from Clay Matthews, is because he's taken, put a lot of abuse. He had a lot of miles on those tires. He was a head first crash dummy from day one. And I think that people identify that, and I think that they see that what they loved about him is just not that. You can get good value out of Clay Matthews, yes, but the value you have to get out of Clay Matthews has to be more intrinsic. It has to be more of a mind thing where the opposing offender understands that you have Clay Matthews, and it's almost like a mind thing where like, oh God, it's Clay Matthews, and I got Cam, almost got him on other, you know, over there too. So, and we got a pretty good secondary. So, you know, he's more of a novelty piece. He could definitely help get some stuff together with some of the younger guys and kind of be an anchor on the defensive side of the ball, because I don't think we really have that. And I think he could bring that element to the team. And it's right up the Saints' alley. Now, as far as the type of name brand player we get on the back end of their career, white and always play linebacker. But if we can somehow ink out a deal with him and manage to get that done, then I think that it'd be a great pickup for the right price. I can't conceivably see paying him. First of all, he can't get anything over a 1-year contract. And that contract, in my opinion, shouldn't be anything over $1.5 to $2 million, period. And that's just all what he's done throughout his career. And that $1.5 to $2 million have to be largely incentivized. As far as a guarantee, at this stage in his career, I couldn't give him no more than about $500,000 or $600,000 guaranteed. And everything else we could play out through incentives, because he doesn't even have a job right now. He's out on the street. They evicted him. So I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, the thing about with Clay Matthews, he'll provide pretty much what teams are looking for as a situational guy to come in. That's the role that he played with the Rams last year when he was able to play in 12 games and accrue 8 sacks, which was pretty damn good. And I think that any team could have used that amount of sacks or pressure, from a guy experienced like him. I don't think he's an every down player anymore. I think he's like what I said, a situational guy that comes in, fortifies your defensive line, comes in, makes a play. And the thing about Clay Matthews is he has an eye for the ball. He has a talent. He knows how to pass rush, and I think there's a value for that. And he definitely would fit the Saints mantra for just 1 year, just to come on 1 year to fortify that backup defensive line situation. And his veteran leadership would also work out as well to several young linebackers that's currently on this staff. So let's move to our next topic, and we're going to just run past this one before we get into the Houston Texans versus the Kansas City Chiefs matchup set for 7:20 Central Time on NBC. First and foremost, before we get to that, Cowboys. According to Forbes, Cowboys is the most valuable team in the NFL, worth $5.7 billion. That's right, $5.7 billion. Jerry and the Cowgirls are worth $5.7. That's the most valuable NFL team according to Forbes. So just to let you know that. Let's move it to the Houston Texans Kansas City matchup. Now, Mazi, this is interesting. You said pre-show that this is like you got a $500 million quarterback in Mahomes, and you got what's the deal with Watson? These are
like 250.
So this is amazing, man, that you have a $750 million worth of quarterback here. I mean, it's absolutely
$750 million.
$750 million worth of quarterback.
Going head to head tonight.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing. So this will be the matchup.
Right. Hey, you might get Alan Greenspan. Alan Greenspan might come out the grave and attend this one, man. This is a financial juggernaut right here, man. I'm telling you.
Well, now remember the Texans offense went quite the change over the last year, and their coach has been under fire big time, man, in this one. But you used to have a series of guys that's here with DeAndre Hopkins is gone. Carlos Hyde, who did well for him last year, no longer on the roster as well. Now guys like Brandon Cooks is there, Randall Cobb is there, a healthy David Johnson, who a lot of people several years ago thought could really reach that level. Since then he's fallen off, but he's 100% healthy for the first time in a while with the Texans. So a lot of people are thinking that David Johnson can have a resurgence, and of course a healthy JJ Watt. So that says a lot about the Texans as they roll into Kansas City to take on the Chief Club that a lot of people believe will represent the AFC in the championship game. And they've added a few new pieces. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is there. They've extended out Chris Jones and Kels, and of course you talked about my homeboy getting his big money as well. So in your opinion, this will be a really interesting matchup, a really good one early. Who wins this one between the Texans and the Chiefs?
Man, I'm gonna have to go with my homeboy, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Houston, bro, look, let me tell you something about Houston. Houston started for the last, even pre-Deshaun Watson, they always come out the gate and have these big grand expectations in the beginning of the season. And somewhere around week 3, week 4, we realize, oh my God, it's the Houston Texans. It's the same as the Houston Oilers. They'll get to the first or second round maybe, and then that'll be the wrap. I don't think anybody feels that way about Kansas City. And I think until the Texans could actually string along something besides a first or second round bounce after having to back into the playoffs with a 10 or 11 win season, I think at that point I'll start respecting Houston a lot more. Do they have all the pieces in place? Absolutely. But I could have all the pieces to a remote control airplane sitting right in front of me, but if I don't know how to put them together and properly construct them to make them fit, it'll never fly. That doesn't mean I don't have all the pieces for a badass remote control airplane. I just, for whatever reason, can't put all of the pieces together into a culpable, workable order to get the plane off the ground. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think a lot of the times, as fans anyway, especially in an opinionated thing that we do, in a show that we do, and we are fans as well, I think that we try to equate power or strength or athleticism or ability, and we try to gauge that and multiply times 11 when we look at a football team. Okay, top to bottom on the offensive side of the ball, man, you got so and so at quarterback, you got such a wide receiver, and we turn into Martin Luther King all of a sudden. We got such and such at running back, and we got, you see, and what happens is we forget that these are human beings that have to have some type of chemistry. You see what I'm saying? Listen, you could get a 6'5" white guy with a chiseled chin and a blonde hair. I mean, the perfect epitome of Captain America, stand up white America. He could be married to Miss America. Two of the most beautiful, chiseled, best body people you ever will meet. But when they are alone, they're empty, they're shallow, they don't have the chemistry. Without the chemistry, I don't care what it looks like on paper or in the public view. Without the chemistry, it just doesn't work. And we're sitting there turning into Martin Luther King. You so-and-so at quarterback and such at receiver. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we become. We got to try to separate the two.
All right. Well, I mean, I think Kansas City ultimately wins this game as well. I think the Texans are good. I just don't think they're quite there yet. And Kansas City, to me, is it's a juggernaut. Texans will put up a good fight, but ultimately Kansas City wins this matchup on Thursday night. And might I add, I'm just happy to see some NFL football as we get closer and closer to our football, and not to mention college football is coming up soon. So football season, during this terrible garbage time stuff that's going on, man, it's just some sense of normalcy, despite the fact that the fans are not in the stands, man. Just to see something, man, it's a plus. So let's move into a little MLB, man.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead, because we're about to transition to baseball.
Well, no, I just want, before we wrap up the football, something that we didn't touch on and I wanted to just remind everybody is, since we were talking about football on every level, just remember, everybody, the LHSAA did just approve fall sports to return, including football, at least for now anyway, to return back to your local high schools and your local stadiums as early as October the 8th. If I'm not mistaken. So just be on the lookout. I'm a big high school football fan, have been for at least, I wasn't all my life, but last 7-8 years, really been on high school football. So just remember to support those guys. Those kids really need that support right now. Fill those stands up at your local high school, your alma mater, your favorite school. Support those players, because those kids are in a really tough time and they kind of need the support from the community. Just keep that in mind as we go on into this. Don't get lost in the shuffle. It's not all about the pros, because before they're pros, they were high school kids. Go ahead, I'm listening.
That was well said. Appreciate that, Mozzie. Transitioning to the Major League Baseball. I don't really talk baseball on this show, but man, when I seen what I seen last night from the Braves and what they did, they scored 29 runs against the Marlins. That's second for most in Major League Baseball history since 1990. That was amazing. And the Braves, they scored 29 against the Miami Marlins on Wednesday night, falling one short of tying the Major League record for most runs in the game. Man, it was amazing. Adam Duvall's 7th inning grand slam gave Atlanta a 29-9 lead, which ended up being the final score. 29 runs are the tie for the second most in the game in the modern era since 1990, just one shot what the Texas Rangers did. 30 against the Orioles back in 07, and the 1950 Red Sox and the 55 White Sox, who scored 29 runs in the game. That's pretty amazing. A day after being shut out by the Marlins on 4 hits, the Braves broke loose. They had 23 hits, including 7 homers. They scored the most runs in Braves franchise history. The Boston, Milwaukee, and Atlanta since 1990, they topped the old record by 6 runs. Atlanta trailed Miami 2-0 leading into the bottom half of the second inning when the Braves sent 14 batters to the plate and exploded for 11 runs. Duvall hit one of the 3 homers in the second, knocking Pablo Lopez out of the game. Duvall then hit another homer, his 12th in the 6-run 5th, and then added the slam in the 7th of Josh Smith, and he finished 3 of 4 with 3 homers and a franchise record tying 9 RBIs. He also became the first player in Braves history with multiple 3-homer games in the season. The previous one was last week against Boston. So, man, let me tell you something. That was a phenomenal thing. Like I said, we don't usually talk baseball on the show, but I had to fit that in there some kind of way. 29 runs That is outstanding. 29-9 was the score. I thought it was a football. I thought they just threw the bats away and started playing football, man. I mean, that's how it was. It's ridiculous, man. But that was awesome to see that happen in the majors, man. And when that happens, we got to share it. But anyway, Mozzie, you want to comment on that 29 runs before we close the show down?
Well, either one of a couple things. Either they had remote control bats, remote control balls. The entire Gambino crime family was in attendance, or it was just sheer outright stupidity and boobery, or everybody from the Atlanta Braves ate sensu beans before they came out to play. One of those five, bro. There's no way these people scored 29 bases, 29 runs in a single game. That's more than that's probably a third or better of a season for a lot of people. That's at least 10 or 12 games worth of baseball from really good teams. I don't know, man. That hats off to the Braves putting that up. Hopefully that sparks a run that takes them all the way on. I mean, I haven't seen it in my lifetime. That's crazy. But that I would have had an investigation open on that ASAP. I'm not going 29 runs. That's a lot. Did they call time? How many times maybe we don't have that kind of time. We got it. How many times did they change pitches? How many times did they change? Really, if I'm the owner should have came down to change managers, pitchers, and batters, the whole team. I would have probably forfeit the game after they scored 15 runs, just so I didn't look bad the next morning when they tacked on the extra 14. I don't know, man. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's absolutely the case. It's wild, man. Really wild. But that's why I had to cover it on TSC Unleashed. And that'll do it for the stories today, man. I appreciate all the family members in attendance for listening to it and the ones that'll be listening on the replay. Shouts out to the family members joining us in the live stream today. Sad Scott and the rest of the family chiming in. Tori Shepard Sr. That's right. Big ups to, and just to let the family members know, and we're going to give a shout out later on the Sports Coma today to Scoob, who's one of our favorite family members in the stream, along with so many of them. His mother did pass away. I communicated with Scoob several days ago and this morning, by the way, that he's really struggling with it. His mother passed, and I told him our prayers was with us and with him, and it's tough, man. It's tough. So all the family members, please give your prayers, man. Please pray for Scoob and his family dealing with a difficult time. His mother passed away. So we want to let them know that we love him and we appreciate him, and that he's in our hearts and he's in our minds. So please take time to share a little love and some prayers for Scoob. So thank you for bringing that to light, Brother Tori. Thank you very much. So that'll do it for the TSC Unleashed. Once again, family, we'll be back tomorrow to recap the NBA playoffs. We'll have some more NFL news to go off it with you as well. And we might talk a little boxing as well. So for me and Mozzie, thank y'all for joining us. Please hit the like button. Please share the link for the stream on your social media as well. Hit the notification button, because we'll see you tomorrow on TSC Unleashed. Peace out.